guys. All right. So I think I'm late again today, but this time it's because of the snow outside and I almost fell on my way down to the building and back up and there's a whole thing. So anyway, today we're going to talk about focus and why focus is so unbelievably important for your service dog. So since we started our Facebook group, Train Your Service Dog with Confidence, we have gotten all kinds of training questions. So everything from heeling and long down stays to trying to say hello to everybody in public or barking at dogs. We're getting all kinds of questions, and that's really great. I mean, we want to help with all of that stuff. But the thing is that all of that stuff, all of those problems, can really be boiled down to down to a lack of focus or an issue with focus in your dogs. So, Striker, come. Thank you. Lay down. Stay. This is Striker. He's going to help me today while we talk about focus. You'll see a couple things with him. So anyway, what I was saying is that almost every single training challenge that you have with your dog can be boiled down to a focus problem. Because we cannot teach your dog anything if you don't have his attention. So a lot of times we see people trying to teach their dogs to heel, or teach their dogs to ignore strangers, or teach their dogs anything really, but they don't even have their dog's attention. And we can't teach your dog anything if you don't have his attention. That's just the truth of it. So there are actually two types of focus problems that we see in dogs, mostly. So one is just a lack of focus, so a dog who doesn't have very good focus and they kind of flit around from thing to thing. And they, it's a dog who gets distracted by shiny objects or leaves that are floating around. Okay, up. There, he'll sit still now. Leaves that are floating around, and I'll move so you can see him, because he's so cute. So, some dogs, right, they just don't focus on any one thing. They're kind of from thing to thing to thing all over the place, and they're not focusing at all. We also see focus problems with dogs who actually have excellent focus, but it's directed at other things. So dogs who are really focused on the environment, or other dogs, or strangers, or something like that. So that all of their attention is out there and their owners can't get it back on them. So in that case, we actually have a dog with really good focus. We just need to teach them how to direct it at us and how to change what they're focusing on. So, on that note, we actually are going to run a 5-day focus building challenge inside our Facebook group. And so it's going to be really exciting. We're going to build a whole bunch of focus in just 5 days. And the way that it's going to work is to join us. All you have to do is come to the Facebook group. And then every day we're going to give you a little easy but powerful assignment so that you can start to build your dog's focus. Because, like I said, if we don't have focus, we can't really solve any other training challenge, right? So, today what I want to also talk about is that there's actually, so focus, having your dog's focus is like a prerequisite to being able to teach anything else, right? We have to teach focus before we can teach anything else. But there's actually a prerequisite to teaching focus. There are actually things you have to do before you can even bother teaching focus to your dog. And what that is being able to reinforce and engage with your dog the way that they want to. So we all know, we need to reinforce our dogs and we need to have good relationships with them and all these things. But what we see a lot is people trying to reinforce their dogs in ways that their dogs don't even want to be reinforced. So let me give you an example. So first of all, I have Striker. Come here, bud. So Striker has really good focus. He's really easy to motivate. I mean, this is just dog food, and you can see he's like shaking in anticipation to have it. So he's really easy. Find it. There we go. As far as that is concerned. So that's nice, right? All I have to do is find any piece of food, and I can easily reinforce him. Come here. But watch this. If I go to praise him and try and pet him, he actually doesn't like that at all. Of course you're acting like it now. Good boy, yes. And so see how he actually leaves me? What do you think about, and shaking off, that's a sign of stress. So if I go, Striker, come, sit. Good Good job. That's very good. So you see how he's avoiding me. He doesn't want that as praise. But if I reach for my food, this is what he wants. This is how he wants to be reinforced. So this is a dog that you could actually punish a behavior like coming when called, for example. You could punish coming when called by trying to pat him on the head and tell him how brilliant he is, because he doesn't like that. He just wants the food. Now, on the flip side, we also have dogs who they want the food and they'll eat it, but they really want you to throw yourself to the floor and make a big deal. So we have a couple dogs like that we're working with now. The food is great and all, but they want you to throw them a freaking party. So that it's like, oh, what a good job, here's your treats, I'm so proud of you, all that stuff. So if you're going to teach your dog to focus, you first have to know how they want to be reinforced and how they want you to engage with them. So Striker, come, he doesn't want this. So he's when he's working, he doesn't want to be pet. So we see this all the time, where people will reach down and pet their dog for doing a good heel, or pet their dog for doing a good sit, and their dog is like, oh, don't touch me, I'm busy, I'm working. And so that actually is going to fight against you in your challenge for focus. But you have dogs who are the opposite, right? Some dogs want to be pet, they want that attention, they want that affection. So you have to know your own dog, and you have to watch their body language, come here, and you have to reinforce them how they want to be reinforced. You also need to just play with your dog more. So that's something that seems so simple, and some of us do a lot of it. Some of us play with our dogs all the time. Some of us don't. And again, playing with your dog is one of those things that you have to do the way that they want to play. So I have some dogs who love to play fetch. I have other dogs who think that's the dumbest game on the planet. So I can't really use fetch as a reinforcement, and I can't really use fetch as a way to build focus because they think it's dumb. But they would love to play a good old rough and tumble game of tug, right? They would love for me grab a tug toy and get on the floor and push them all around. But my dogs who like to play fetch, they would probably be horrified by that kind of play. So you have to play with your dog the way they want, you have to engage with your dog the way they want, and you have to reinforce your dog the way that they want. They're the only one who gets to decide what's rewarding and what's not. So, 2 really easy ways, once you have figured that out, how your dog wants to be reinforced, one really easy way to start building focus is to, throughout the day, maybe 10 to 20 times, just randomly go, Striker, come. And so his ears perked up, he's sitting right in front of me, so I'm going to give him a treat. Right now, if he had been on the other side of the room, he would have come to me. And so all you do is, if your dog is away from you, Striker, come. You call them just once, and then reinforce them. And you reinforce them however they want to be reinforced. So for Striker, he just wants me to give him a couple pieces of food. For my other dogs, I would say, Epic, for example, I might go, Epic, come, and then, wow, what a good boy, oh, I'm so proud of you, and give him lots of scratching. And the cool thing about this is that this is a 2-for-1. So it's going to work on your focus and also your dog's ability to come when called. And we love things that do more than one training task at a time. So you'll get a good recall and you'll get good focus when you do this. Because when you play this game, where you say your dog's name and then immediately reinforce them as soon as they come to you, you're really heavily reinforcing looking to you whenever they hear your name. So out in public, all you have to do is say your dog's name and they quick look up at you. And that starts at home under low distraction environments. So if 20 times a day, just throughout your normal everyday day while your dog is, maybe you're in the kitchen and your dog's in the living room, and you just call them to you and then reinforce them however they want to be reinforced, if you can do that 20 times a day, you're going to see a huge spike in your dog's ability to focus on you. The other thing that you can do, and we recommend this to almost every client we've ever worked with in the last 10 years, is to spend a couple of weeks hand feeding your dog his food. So preferably you'd do a training session, you'd sit down and teach something, but if you're in a hurry, all you have to do is just hand them handfuls of food. And this is really simple. It takes only 5 or 10 minutes or so. Get up, come on. Get up. Good boy. So your dog has to eat twice a day, right? So if you hand feed them their meal twice a day, instead of feeding it to them out of a bowl, you can see a huge spike in focus doing that as well. And that only takes a week or two. So if you do 20 of these, recalls a day where you call your dog from the other side of the room and reinforce them, and then you start to hand feed them their meals, these are two of the fastest ways to build focus. And they're actually really easy too. So we do them a lot. So to learn more about how to build focus, you'll want to join our challenge, like I mentioned earlier. So that's going to take place, we're going to start on February 5th in the Facebook group, and we're going to run it for 5 days. Every day there will be a new assignment, and they will be different than the ones that we just gave you, so there won't be overlap. Although we recommend you do these as well, the hand feeding and the calling your dog 20 times a day. And I promise if you do those two things for a week, you will be amazed at how quickly it builds your dog's focus. So the challenge will run for 5 days. Each day you'll get a new easy assignment. And if you post your assignments to the Facebook group and you participate in every single day, we're actually going to raffle off some really cool prizes. So it's going to be a really fun week. We're going to have a lot of learning, and we're going to also have some fun giveaways as well. So in order to participate in the challenge, all you have to do is join the Facebook group, which I have linked to in the show notes. You can also find it on the Facebook page here. It's linked at the top. And request access, and we'll let you in, and then on February 5th we will start the challenge. So, does anybody have any questions about the challenge or about building focus in their dogs? And these two things that we just mentioned, I just mentioned, these can be done with dogs of any age. So before I was training service dogs, I was training pet dogs, and some of these pet dogs, I don't think they had looked at their owners in 18 months. They hadn't even bothered looking up at their owners. Oh, okay, I'm back. So apparently this is going to be a 2-part video because I lost my internet at the end there. Lie down. Because I lost my internet at the end there. So what I was trying to say is that when I was training pet dogs before I was training service dogs, there were some really horrendous focus issues. Dogs who, they couldn't respond to their name, they couldn't focus on their owners, even in low distraction environments. And these two pieces of advice, the calling your dog 20 times a day and the hand feeding them every single day for 2 weeks for all of their meals, they have had massive effects both with our... Alright, my phone told me it was trying to reconnect again. So I don't know what's going on with my internet. So we're going to just quick wrap up here. And then hopefully we'll figure this out by next week. So long story short, right? Focus. Really, really important. We can't teach your dog anything if they're not paying attention to you. So make sure that you learn how to engage with your dog and how to reinforce them in the way that they want to be reinforced. And then reinforce them 20 times a day for coming when called, and hand feed them every single meal for 2 weeks. And I promise you will see an increase in your dog's ability to focus. These are the 2 easiest pieces of advice that I have on it. I have loads more, and to find that, you're going to want to join us in the Facebook group so that you can participate in the 5-day challenge. So let us know if you have any questions. My internet is not going to work well enough for me to sit here live and answer questions, but I will be both Jessica and I will sit in the comments for the next 15 minutes and answer questions in the comments instead of in the video, since apparently I'm having major internet troubles today, even though I didn't think I would be. So, well, now I see I have a few of you, so maybe I'll hang out for just a minute and see if you guys have any questions, because I know that there's going to be a lag. But like I said, I will, first of all, I'll sit in the comments and I will answer questions in the comments when this video wraps up. And then I will also make sure that all of the videos are put into the show notes so that they're not, I'll edit them to make them one video, and they're all going to be in the show notes so that if you think you might have missed something jumping around from feed or from video to video, everything will be in the show notes for you so that you can see everything there and you won't have missed anything. And hopefully this will not happen again next week at noon when we do our next Facebook Live, because from now on they're going to be every Monday at noon. Unless I have major internet trouble. Then we'll keep you guys posted on that. We're always working on fixing that. So, all right, I think that's it. Like I said, I will hang out in the comments instead of on the video to answer questions. So throw any questions into the comments and we will answer them for you. And then join the Facebook group if you want to be in the challenge, because it's going to be a really fun week full of lots of learning, lots of support, and lots of fun things. All right, guys, have a good week, and I will see you next week at noon.